Hi everyone, and welcome back to another Leanademy video. I'm Lauren Heisey, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Today we're going to be talking about process mapping, so visualizing what those workflows look like through process mapping. So basically, let's think about process mapping as our map to find the gold in the processes, meaning finding the gold, uncovering the root causes that cause a lot of our issues. But you can't even get there until you do some really good process mapping. But before we get started, I want to just say, please go check out leanademy.com. We have some classes out there, and also this is airing before Black Friday. If you would like to get onto our email list to get some of our Black Friday specials that are coming out pretty soon here in about a week or so, please go to Leanademy and subscribe to our newsletter, or you can just drop me a comment below. All right, let's jump right in. So basically, what is process mapping and swim lane diagrams? Basically, process mapping helps us visualize those workflows, right, to identify inefficiencies and improve processes. Swim lanes are just like we said, or just like you can visualize if you're jumping in and swimming in a lane. Helps us understand the organizational process by roles, right? So we can identify clear responsibilities and handoffs. In addition, these tools help support Lean Six Sigma by enabling cross-functionality and collaboration and process improvement. So what is our swim lanes? Like I said, it looks just like a swim lane. Basically, a swim lane diagram organizes process steps into lanes by roles, right, in departments or systems. It does provide a very clear, responsible assignment, identification of handoffs, and of course, it also helps us look at what those complex workflows look like, especially from a cross-functional perspective. Because usually, when we do process maps and we start to do any type of Lean Six Sigma project, we don't. Depending on how big your project is, but we don't want to stay very siloed. We want to understand what our upstream and downstream business partners are doing. The advantage of Lean Six Sigma projects is that they help us really, like I said, really help clarify those roles and responsibilities. That's what those swim lanes do. But in addition to that, when you start doing that process mapping, because remember, you're not doing it by yourself, you're doing it with your project team. It helps you as you're going through these maps with the teams, is you identify those bottlenecks and reworks that can happen at different parts in the process that may not have come out if you just looked at an SOP. It does improve. It really does help improve that cross-functional communication. I've seen it. I've been doing Lean Six Sigma for 14 plus years, and I've seen it happen very much when I'm working with my clients. I also see it when my students are starting down their Lean Six Sigma journey with their projects. They start to help increase the collaboration between all the different departments and understand what systems are being used. Plus, it helps the Lean Six Sigma process mapping helps support Lean Six Sigma through the make phases by clarifying what that current state looks like, helping you hit together discussions when you get into analyze phase, but more importantly, it also helps you in the prove phase to look like what is that feature state going to look like. It is very, very important that we do not do process maps from SOPs or from previous documentation. You really, really want to incorporate this with your Gemba walks, because we want to make sure we are getting the as-is process, right? What is it that's really, truly happening today? And so process mapping, I always encourage to go do this with Gemba walks, right? So when you're doing it with your Gemba walks, this helps you get out of the room and actually get in to see what's going on. Plus, when you're doing process mapping, you really, really need to engage those frontline folks that are doing the process mapping. That are doing the work, because they are the ones that understand where the bottlenecks, where the lean waste is happening, and where the variation is happening, and can help you really put that map together. So process mapping the workflow. So basically, before you start any type of process mapping, and this can be a conjunction, can be done when you're in the define phase, right? When you're trying to figure out who is going to be part of this, but also what the scope and objective is of this process. So this is really good place where you would start to use a side pack map, so you can see this, your starting point and your ending point, what your inputs and outputs are of this process, who your customers and suppliers are. But most importantly, we want to also make sure that we have the correct people in this process mapping exercise. So what you want to make sure you use is you have your frontline workers, you have your SMEs. We don't want executives in there to do the process mapping. You want your frontline people that do the work day in and day out. When it comes to using what tools to use, I get often asked this a lot. Post-it notes. Seriously, just use simple post-it notes. Go into your room and start using post-it notes. If you have to do your process mapping virtually, there's plenty of whiteboards, like Microsoft has it within their teams. Just go use those whiteboards or virtual post-it notes within those whiteboards. You can also use something like Miro. But basically, you want to use some type of post-it notes, either if it's in person, like an actual post-it note, or virtually, because it helps you to move things around as you're putting this process together. Once you got through all of the process mapping with the team, then you can go and move that into some type of digital form, right? So you can put it into Visio, you can use Lucid Charts, whatever you're comfortable using. You can even do that straight in Miro, or even on or the Microsoft whiteboard as well. But like I said, use the post-it notes, either actual or virtual, and then put it into those digital tools. Some mistakes we want to avoid. Remember, we want to map the as is, the current state, what is happening today. You do not map that future state until after you do the current state. You want to include any of the exceptions or informal steps that may not have been in the SOP, but people are doing because SOPs may not be correct. You want to make sure you engage those frontline folks, because they are the ones that know the process, they know what's going on, and they also know what those exceptions and informal steps look like. And also, you want to avoid overcomplicating that diagram. Keep them as simple and clear as possible, because the more simple they are and the more clear they are, the more that not just the frontline folks and you, but also people that you are going to share this outcome with will understand the process. So what is your next step as a Lean Six Sigma practitioner? So basically, here is the power of the swim lanes to help us reveal those inefficiencies, but also align the teams on what that process improvement can look like. You want to make sure, like I said, engage the right people, focus on that current state, and utilize the supporting resources, right? So you can download worksheets and read guides to enhance process visualization and communication. It's super, super important that you get the current as is process. Hopefully I'm getting that into you, that you want to map the current as is process. All right, my friends, we are at the end of this video. If you really like these videos, please subscribe below, give us a thumbs up or a like. If you find this really, really helpful, please share with anybody else that you would think might benefit from these type of different videos. And we will be, like I said, please, if you would like to learn more about our promotions that we're going to be running for Black Friday, please either comment below or use this QR code and go to leanademy.com. And I will see you next time.